Hey guys, it's Mathil here once again, and I just want to make another quick little video about the double BF Pathfinder, which is Bladeflurry attached to Cast When Channeling Bladefall, and just how it's going and what it's done, as I'm about to take it into the Endgame maps and Uber Eats series, Guardians, Shapers, that sort of thing. So before we get there, I just wanted to go over what's changed and what I'm doing with it. As you can see right now, it is clearing quite comfortably, and it's on almost no real gear requirements. It's pretty unspecific at this stage. Just general crappy CI gear. You only need about 8 KS at this stage. We're using Blasphemy Temp Chains and a Witchfire Brew for vulnerability. Now, the damage you can scale with Conk Effect and with a totem is absolutely insane at this stage, and there are still some things to change and some upgrades to make. At this stage, I'm going to go ahead and say Scourge is going to be the best weapon for the build, but there are a few other options, and I'll go over that in just a second. The idea behind the build is both of your Bladeflurry and Bladefall will be hitting with lots of chaos and fizz damage, and then stacking up poison quite heftily and deleting bosses when stacked with Wither. As you can see, that was just normal at Zeri. These are the Breach Lords so far that I have run, done everything up to Chayula, and it's all been rather smooth. So I'll go over real quick what the setup looks like and what I am going to be using in the long run. So right now, as I mentioned, I'm using a Scourge. Now before this, I was running a dagger that's got some good attack speed and some spell damage. The concept there is to attack faster, just to get slightly better chaos damage procs, because most of our damage is coming from added chaos, and then a whole bunch of spell damage because I wanted to give myself the option of running a Crown of Eyes and getting spell damage to work for both the Bladeflurry and the Bladefall. And I didn't end up doing that because I'm running a Skin of the Loyal, and that means I can't really afford to wear a Crown of Eyes, and in the long term, a Scourge is going to be much better off for our damage anyway. So what Scourge does, it gives you 70% increased minion damage when you've hit recently. Now, that applies to you. So 70% increased minion damage is just pure 70% increased damage as far as you're concerned. It applies to both your Bladeflurry and your Bladefall. The initial tooltip for the physical and the chaos, and then it also applies to your poison, so it double dips, and that makes it very nice. And that means you can also grab a couple of other really nice passives like Lord of the Dead and minion damage here, which is another 30% increased damage you could not otherwise get, and it opens you up to minion damage jewels. So it makes the damage just a bit nicer overall, so Scourge is mostly worth investing in. At this stage, it costs something like 2 exalts. It will drop, hopefully, in the future. For a build like this, because there's going to be more and more available. You know, there's only so many that people actually need out there, and it's also got some good fizz damage on it too. Before that, I was running this guy, and it is perfectly fine. It just won't attach the added damage yet to my Bladeflurry unless you're running Crown of Eyes. That is a much cheaper option though if you want to go that way. And then you can also get extra spell damage on your shield. Mine currently is a piece of shit. Besides that, got myself a helm with 40% increased Bladefall damage, rolled it up a bit, it's nothing too special. Still wearing some temp gloves here, bought some really nice boots pretty cheaply, and made myself a crystal belt. Besides that, we do need accuracy since we're not using a Vegan dagger or anything like that, which would have been nice, but can't really afford to lose the damage from Scourge. So accuracy here, accuracy there, and our flask setup is pretty important. The Aziri's Promise gives you a lot of extra physical damage, chaos damage, as you can see on the Bladeflurry. 1400 top end goes all the way up to 2000. The Witchfire gives us a permanent while it's up vulnerability aura, and then Quicksilver makes our shield charge go a lot quicker, as well as the Onslaught too, and it gives you a really fast shield charge in the end, just off of 2 flasks basically. Now, before you can get a Sin's Rebirth, I have only just bought this, haven't even used it yet, just a Sulfur Flask with 40% increased damage and increased duration. Clears bleed. That's really nice too, because that's just an extra like 50-60 damage based off of your Pathfinder Ascendancy, and it just scales for all of your damage as well, double dipping. But a Sin's Rebirth is definitely the way to go if you are going to play something like this, because it's going to give us Unholy Might. Unholy Might is 30% additional chaos damage based off of your fizz. So over here we've got 1400 top end once again, boom, straight up to 2100 chaos. Works for your Bladefall as well, and it's just kind of massive. So Unholy Might, very worth getting if you can get your hands on a Sin's Rebirth. I haven't used it yet, but I'm sure it's going to be insane for the damage. At this stage, that's the character. Not much to say besides that. Skin of the Loyal, it's a really good chest for what it is. If you can get your hands on one of these, I paid 1 Exalt for mine. And yeah, the setup is on the left hand side if you need it. If you want to know how much ES I'm getting right now from this, I have 8400. It gives you 100% increased global defenses, which essentially is 100% increased ES as far as we're concerned. So just, you know, like 100% of this sort of stuff. That's what that means. That's what it looks like. And for me personally, this currently gives almost 2000 ES. So it just scales everything else you have. Your helm, shield, gloves, boots, and belt, as well as the discipline. So it is, at the moment, to me, probably roughly equivalent to like a 500 or 600 ES chest. If I had much better shield and helm, then perhaps it would be worth a lot more. But at this stage, it's just a nice option for a 6-link without having to go overboard on a price. That's the character for now. I will be taking it to the higher content, so look forward to those videos. Thank you very much for watching. Happy holidays, and see you guys next time.